Shalom everyone, and today we're studying Parashat Mikkets. Parashat Mikkets coincides always with Hanukkah, special holiday of Hanukkah. Happy Hanukkah to all. And we are reading in the book of Genesis, chapter 41, verse 1. ויהי מקץ שנתיים ימים, ופרעה חולם והנה עומד על היאור. And it was at the end of 2 years, and Pharaoh has a dream, and he's standing by the Nile. Okay, so that's the beginning of the dreams, two dreams of Pharaoh. Finally, the result is, and the outcome is that nobody can interpret the dream, and Pharaoh is getting very upset about it, till finally the wine steward finally remembers Joseph. You know, how did they two know each other? So we read that in the previous parasha, Parashat Vayeshev, and in Parashat Vayeshev we learned that Joseph was sold as a slave by his brothers. He comes to Egypt as a slave. Potiphar, one of the important ministers of Pharaoh, buys Joseph as a slave. And then Joseph is getting very, very successful till finally he is the CEO of all assets of the great rich Potiphar. Then the wife of Potiphar wants to take him to bed. He runs away. She is getting very upset. She frames him. She blames him for trying to do something dishonest to her. He's thrown to jail. And there in jail, after 10 years in jail, Joseph meets the wine steward and Pharaoh's baker in jail. Each one of them had a dream. He interpreted the dream, and the way he interpreted the dreams, that's how the dream is being fulfilled. So, before the wine steward is going out to freedom, Joseph is telling the wine steward, remember me when you are free. Remember me. I was kidnapped from my father's home and I'm here in jail. I didn't do anything for that. Just remember me. Same way that I did you a favor and I gave you the interpretation that got you out of jail. Remember me. But the end of Parashat Vayeshev is that the wine steward does not remember Joseph. Not just this, it says twice he doesn't remember him and he forgets him, which is a bizarre way to express it. And now we are going to learn about Joseph's rise, because we know that 2 years later, after the dreams of the wine steward and the baker, we have Pharaoh with his dreams, and now he is so upset, no one can interpret a dream. Of course, the wizards in Egypt, all of them come with great ideas. Pharaoh knows they are pulling his leg, that they're really not, it's not really the interpretation. Whatever they bring him, he doesn't believe in it. He doesn't feel like this is the right interpretation. Then, when everybody is in distress, the wine steward is saying, I'm reading chapter 41, verse 9, וידבר שר המשקים את פרעה, and the wine steward speaks to Pharaoh. לאמור את חטאי אני מזכיר היום. I'm mentioning my sins today. פרעה קצף על עבדיו ויתן אותי במשמר בית שר הטבחים. אותי ואת שר האופים. Pharaoh was upset about me and the baker, and he put us in jail. And then verse 11, and we had a dream, both of us, same night. Each one has his own dream. But over there in jail, there was an Hebrew boy, a slave of the שר הטבחים, the minister of the cooks, ונספר לו ויפתור לנו. And we told him about our dreams, each one his own dream, and he interpreted. And the way he did it, that's the way it happened. He brought me back to my post, to my position, and he hung him up. So Pharaoh is getting excited. Here we have somebody who knows how to interpret dreams. And verse 14, Vayishlach Paro vayikra et Yosef, and Pharaoh is sending people to call Joseph from jail. Vayiritzu min habor, and they rushed him out from the pit. Same expression as the pit that his journey started with. The pit that his brothers threw him in, and he almost died over there because of the scorpions and the snakes. So here we complete the cycle. He is coming as a free person to his brothers. They turn him into a slave, not before they throw him into the pit. Now he's coming out of slavery, rushing out from the pit, and then he is being shaved, changing his clothes, and he's standing in front of Pharaoh to make his lifetime speech. Vayomer Paro el Yosef, Pharaoh tells him his two dreams, and Joseph tells him, from the dreams, I can tell you, there are going to be 7 years of amazing plenty like never seen in Egypt before. And after that, 7 years of famine that will erase all impression of the plenty of the 7 years. And then he gives Pharaoh, although not being asked to, an advice. Pharaoh should take somebody that is wise enough to collect all the food produced during the 7 years of plenty, because the food won't be able, you won't be able to sell it and to eat it. You have to accumulate all of that food and then preserve it. And during the years of famine, the land of Egypt will be saved from famine. Vayitav hadavar b'nei Paro v'nei avadav. Verse 37, and it was good in the eyes of Pharaoh and the eyes of his servants. Vayomer Paro el avadav, and Pharaoh says to his servants, do you know anyone that has the Spirit of God with him, that he can do so much, that he can stand in the head, can raise such a project? So then Pharaoh says to Joseph, after God told you all of this, there's no one smart and wise as you are. You will take command over Egypt. Only I'm going to be bigger than you. However, you're going to be in charge. And then within the next verse, Vayasa Paro et tabatom al yado, Pharaoh takes off his signet ring, the symbol of power, gives it to Pharaoh, to Joseph, and then he dresses him up with dresses of kingdom, and Joseph becomes officially, de facto, the king of Egypt for the next decades. And he brings Egypt to arise in power, control, everything like never been before. All of that is happening within few verses. We have over here a very important statement the Torah is making. Here you have a person that he is right now at the bottom of all people who live in such a great, powerful kingdom as Egypt. He's a slave, Hebrew slave in jail. Okay? What can be worse than that? He wakes up that day, 12 years after being sent into jail. He didn't do anything for that. And then he wakes up in the jail and he goes to sleep in the evening as the most powerful person in the Near East. What an amazing story. This is like really the material to make Hollywood movies. Okay? And what's in it for us? That is the issue. How do we create such magnitude of transformations in our own lives. Each one of us, every human being, has his own low spots, low places of misery, slavery, lack of control, pain, anguish, whatever you name it, and how do you transform it? Most people, unfortunately, do not know how to handle such dark moments, and usually those moments bring them down to even to death. And here we have the spirit, the belief system, the knowledge base of how do we turn things around, and understanding it's all about us. So the Zohar on Parashat Mikkets starts with a verse. Mikkets, and it was at the end of 2 years. 2 years after Joseph has the incident with the 2 ministers of Pharaoh and their dream. Okay, 2 years, which means if the wine steward was thankful enough, he could take Joseph out of the jail immediately. Why did Joseph have to wait 2 years? Why does it need to mention 2 years? And why using the word Mikkets? Because Mikkets does not mean 2 years later. It looks like what it says 2 years later, but the word is Mikkets Shnatayim Yamim. What does it mean, Mikkets? And in order to understand that, the Zohar is bringing us verse 1 in the Sulam, Zohar. Rabbi Chia Patach Ve'amar. Rabbi Chia is quoting from the book of Job, chapter 28, verse 3. Ketz sam lachoshech ulechol tachlit uchoker. Even, ofel, vetzal mavet. God has the power to put an end here, but the word end is brought as a demise, ending something by destroying its existence. That's the word Mikkets. It's not just simply after 2 years. Here we bring the same word, Ketz, as here in the Parasha. This is in the book of Job, and this is in Parashat Bereshit. And he speaks that the word Ketz is being mentioned as putting an end, a real final blow to darkness. Ketz sam lachoshech, bringing an end, a demise to the darkness. Ulechol tachlit uchoker even ofel vetzal mavet. It's like bringing a demise and a final blow to all that is negative, darkness, and fear. היקרא יתמר קץ שם לחושך, די יהיו קץ לשמאלה. דיושת בעלמא ושת לעילה, וקיימה קמי קודשה בריחו. ועשתי וקטרגה לעלמא. והיתמר ולכל תכלית וחוקר, דעה כל עובדוי, לאו אינון לטב, אלא לשצאה תדיר, ולמעבד כליה בעלמא. Translation from Asulam. So when it says this is the demise to the darkness, that means the end of the left column. A left column that is not included with the right column. And we learn that every human being, each one of us, is coming to the world like everything, like every electric device has a plus and a minus. Every human being has a plus and a minus. The plus is the desire to share, to give, to care, to love, to generate loving kindness. This is chesed. This is the right column. A healthy human being is using his right column. Okay, that is one side. Okay, but every human being has also the other side, the left side. And the left side is the desire to receive. The left side is selfishness. The left side is about me. What about me? How do I take? Now, it's not evil, the left side, by its initiation, because how can you give if you have nothing to give? If you have nothing to give, so of course, in order to give big charity, you need to make a lot of money. Otherwise, how can you make a big charity? How can you help a lot of people if you don't have the means, the power, and the abilities? Of course, you need to receive power, money, influence in order to be able to share it with others. But what the Zohar is saying over here, which is a very important statement, when we are using the left column by itself, we're talking about the left column that is not bound by the right column. What does that mean? A left side that is not bound by the right column, that is the desire to receive, that is selfish on its own. Me, and only me. Now, the point is, what the Zohar continues, that left column without the right column, which means desire to receive for the self alone, egotistic desires, this is Satan u'malach hamavet, Satan and the angel of death. Which means, who are Satan and the angel of death? Are those like angels that fly around looking for victims? Here, what the Zohar is saying, no. These are forces within every human being. That, of course, we need to have a desire. We need to have ambition. We need to have a need. Otherwise, how does the economy grow? If you think, wake up in the morning every day, you say, I'm nothing, I'm capable of nothing. I cannot bring anybody any help because I'm nothing. I am no one, I'm nobody, and so on and so forth. You have no desire for anything. You cannot give anything. So the right column is in a way conditioned by the left column. If you can't receive and get, you can't even share and give. You cannot give what you don't have. On the other hand, if you receive and get, but you do not bind it by the right column, which means you want to be rich, there's nothing wrong about being rich. You're willing to pay the price. Yes, I'm willing to pay the price. I'm willing just to go through all the against my laziness, against my stupidity. Listen to people, cooperate with people, try and try again and try. Not everybody becomes rich from the first trial. Till you learn how to do it, it takes an effort. You never give up. You're doing it and you're doing it. Yes, there's nothing wrong so why do you want to be rich? Because I'm giving service and I can, with this money that I can get and the power, the influence, I can make a world to be a little bit better than it used to be when I was born to this world. Okay? So we see over here the two powers. One, the ambition to make a difference, to grow, to be larger, bigger, stronger, and more affluent. Okay? That, and be more excited about it, that's the left column. However, if it's not bound by the right column, this is Satan, and the angel of death. In another word, darkness. All pain, misery, confusion, all what's in it, it's all about the left column without the right column. We know that the moment the human being has no commitment for self-transformation, has no commitment to be there for others, I'm here just to take and as much as I can, and if I took, I have no problem to step on anybody else's rights for happiness, for property, whatever, for anything. I'm just getting it because I can. Okay? That's the left column. But that's what the Zohar says, this is darkness. So it's darkness for other people. Who cares about other people? I have whatever I want, and I take it because I can. And the Zohar says, no, you don't understand. The angel of death and the darkness are within you. Because the moment you are using, awakening, developing only the left column, This is the angel of death inside you. This is Satan inside you. So what will be the result? Don't be surprised when you realize that those negative forces became the ruling powers in your life. Which means, yes, you got what you wanted. Maybe money, maybe power, fame, and stuff like this. But because you came only from the left column, the price will be so big. It will be the angel of death. It will finish you off. And we spoke about it many times. We see people in the history of the last few decades and the history of humanity. People had the talent, the ability, the magic to work out to create empires of money and fame and so on. And what a mess. Their lives are being extinguished. Like lighting a match, there's a bright fire in the beginning, and then the fire simply disappears and it's gone forever. How could that happen? When you take just for yourself, without giving, just left column without the right column, you just invited the angel of death. So, however, we have a lot of situations that we feel the burden of the angel of death. However, we don't remember being so selfish. We don't remember being so evil. Why is it that good people think they are good, normative people, find themselves in terrible pain and anguish? Why would that happen? Till you really feel the angel of death taking over you. And you have terrible thoughts, desires, and emotions. Where is that coming from? And the answer is, we have to understand, we human beings came to this physical world in order to fight the angel of death. We have to beat him up, and there's no option. Why? Because the Creator created us for that purpose, which means as long as we have any kind of left column controlling our lives, and I'll give you an example. It's like a person could be a nice, beautiful, amazing, sharing person. Very high values. However, every person has a defect. Otherwise, we won't be here. We're not here to be perfect. We're here to perfect. We're here to overpower the angel of death within us, not others, our own. And how do we overcome the angel of death? By finding inside us those aspects of selfishness or aspects of need that we are not even aware. And the example over here, Joseph. Joseph is doing an amazing job. As we learned in Parashat Vayeshev last week, first of all, he's never whining, he's not a victim. The moment he finds himself in the position of a slave in Potiphar's home, he is doing everything to the utmost to please his master, and his master realizes that, and his master realizes that whatever he's doing, it's God's working through this boy. So he gives him so much power. So now Joseph, that he is really awarded with so much power, he's not going around with rags. He's beautifully dressed. He is the chief of staff of Potiphar. He's the CEO of Potiphar's ventures in Egypt. He was one of the most powerful. Okay? So Joseph knows he did it because he had no selfish thoughts. He simply did the best he could in total altruism in favor of his master. Okay? Now, the wife of his master wants him. And he says, I cannot betray the trust of my master. Okay? You're the only thing that is left in his possession that I'm not involved with. Everything else I'm involved with. I cannot do it to him because I have a commitment. She wants him. So what happens? He finally is being seduced, but he overcomes that because his values, his covenant with the Creator is stronger than his physical immediate needs. And the result is that he's being thrown into jail. Okay? What is he doing in jail? Is he now a victim? Is he now complaining? No, he's not. How do we know? He becomes a master of the jail in no time. What does it mean? He was never the victim. He was never negative. He was never upset, or how should I say, disappointed that here I overcame such a strong desire. And that's my reward. No, he has no question whatsoever. But he falls. He falls just in the last moment. 10 years later, and the wine steward and the baker wake up with a dream. And after he interprets the dream for the baker, he says, within 3 days, your Pharaoh is going to take your head off your shoulders. You're going to be killed by Pharaoh. And for the wine steward, he says, within 3 days, Pharaoh is going to bring you back to your old position next to him. Okay? And it happens exactly as Joseph says. But then he's asking the wine steward for a favor. And that is where the problem lies. Does that mean we're not allowed to have networking? We're not allowed to have connections with people that we give them so they owe us? That's called trade. Okay? You help somebody, he helps you. That's how trade works. So what's wrong with it? Why did Joseph had to stay 2 more years till came the demise of the angel of death? Because when Joseph asked the wine steward to remember him, he really trusted that the wine steward is going to be the one who's going to get him out of this stuck position in jail. And you know what? He was right. The wine steward did take him out from jail. The wine steward is the vehicle through which Pharaoh heard about the dream interpreter. Okay? So he was right. No, he was wrong. The wine steward forgot till Joseph was able to fix that mistake. And what was a mistake? So as I said before, we are not supposed to be sitting at home and waiting for the assassins to come in. We're supposed to make an effort. We're supposed to make connections. We're supposed to find what is the value I can give to others, the merchandise, the service, that they will in return give me money so I can find a living, make a living. Okay? That's sure, no doubt about it. However, and that is one of the key issues of our calling as human beings. When we expect that a human being is going to save us, we have a huge problem. When we hope that the business deal that I just started is going to make me rich or going to get to pay my bills for this month, I am in trouble. Why am I in trouble? Because the moment I have expectations and I create at that moment dependency, emotional dependency, I am not the person I'm supposed to be. How come? As we learned, the Creator created us in perfect state of fulfillment. And God said, let there be light, and there was light. And God saw that the light was good. And it was a night, and it was a day, one day. in these magical verses, you have the whole story. God wanted to give us His pleasure, His energy, His light, His fulfillment, anything good. That energy He shared with us is called over here the light. He created us as being of desires so we can enjoy that light. However, how much desire did He give us? He gave us everything, including Himself. And therefore, it's mentioned in the same chapter, chapter 1 in Genesis, towards the end, and God created Adam, and in the image of God, He created him. And what does it mean, an image of God? So we learned, we're talking about that need every human being has inside, in the core, to be a creator. What does it mean? Being creator means to be independent, to be creative, and to be sharing. These are the three aspects of being a creator, the three most important. And the moment we develop dependency, the moment we think, oh, this guy is going to solve our problem, I fell. Why? I'm not in the image of God anymore. I'm not stepping up and assuming my coronation as God's child. I'm just a needy human being, and that's not connected to the God within me, to the God picture, structure that every human being has inside. So how do we do that? So what happened was when Joseph was asking the wine steward for help, what he did was not wrong. He was supposed to do that. You're supposed to deal with other people and negotiate with them how to make your situation better. Okay? That's called trade. That's called relationship. That's called networking. That's normal. However, every salesperson knows the moment I'm sitting there with a potential customer, could be there's somebody who came to buy a product, somebody who wants to buy an asset, it doesn't matter. And I invest a lot of attention, time, energy, maybe even money in that potential customer. And I'm starting to develop that idea that that person is going to deliver me from my pit, because he is going to make this business deal. He's going to pay me my reward, and I'm already there. What's wrong with that? What's wrong with that? That every good salesperson knows that you don't do that. Why? It will kill you. You do your best and let God do the rest. When you do sales pitches, it doesn't matter what you sell. Every person, every lead that you have, and you get in touch with them and you present your service or merchandise to them, every incident like this ends with a fulfilling acquisition that basically makes you, wow, I did it. It's an achievement. Every lead is doing that? No, it doesn't work this way. So people go into sales. Could be real estate, could be package deals of renovation, or whatever kind of sales. You're selling shoes, or you're selling cellular phones. It doesn't matter. It's all about getting the other side to buy the merchandise and pay you for that. Okay, what's the problem? The moment, if you really want to stay a successful salesperson, you cannot develop the expectation saying that person is going to bring me to the wanted place. Why not? Because every salesperson knows that this is disruptive. You develop hope, and then disappointment, Then you have a mental collapse. You hate people. Might kill them. Okay, it's not normal, and your emotional status is high and high, and finally you become negative, not welcoming. Every person is coming in, and you start to develop this hostility. Like, I don't know if I want to give you the service. Why? Because I met with so many people the last week. They almost spotted. They did not. Why? I don't want to bother with it. Go away. You don't do business like this. Everybody knows that. Okay? You cannot put your expectations in somebody else's hands. They don't owe you anything. They're not responsible for your success. The only one who's responsible for your success is you. No one else. You. How do you achieve success? When we all have that issue, start to develop expectations. After the expectation, most of the times comes a disappointment. And then you blame that person and you dislike it because how could he make me hope so much? Or you come to deal with God himself. How could you, like God, do this? I'm so unlucky. You cannot do that. A real healthy-minded business person knows. I have statistics. I would work with 30 people a month, and I know that 10% in my profession, 10% will go through, 90% will not. Other kind of businesses, maybe it will be 15%. Different seasons, different times and economy and so on. The market is not that hot. It does not matter. There's a certain percentage and you have no idea if the person standing in front of you, he belongs to this percentage. What do you want from him? You cannot put him under responsibility for your well-being. Impossible. You cannot do it. So the moment you look at the person with, oh, he is going to give all what I'm hoping for. My dreams are going to come true through that person. That's a transgression that is unforgivable. Why can't God forgive it to me? Oh, the problem is not with God. I can't forgive it to myself. Why? Because when I am expecting somebody else to save me, I am under his control. I'm not a creator. I'm not doing my job in this world, which is to take responsibility for creating success, happiness, health, and whatever that is good. So it starts with business. It goes to couples and families, in which we start to develop all kinds of expectations from others. They don't owe anyone. Our family, our children, our spouses, they do not have to make us happy. And also, if you noticed, they cannot make you happy the same way you cannot take the responsibility for making somebody else happy. Why? The only person who can make myself happy is myself. And the only way to do it is to be aware of the left column, to be aware of my need and desire and ambition to succeed and to achieve the best, to be aware of it. However, I have to bind it with the right column, which means I want to be happy and I'm willing to pay the price, which is to do whatever I can to make other people happy. This is the formula. When Joseph asked the wine steward for help, he had this little touch of, here is the guy. He's going to do it. And immediately Joseph realizes, I fell, I'm not ready. Now I have dependency in that man, the wine steward. If I'm going to become the king, and now I owe him. Who else? You cannot run the business and have dependency by other people. You cannot run a family while you always believe and you have a belief system that they must make you happy. They won't. Forget it. Will never happen. The only way true happiness and real true fulfillment will happen is when we generate it, no matter what the circumstances are. Joseph arrives to that moment 2 years after the previous occasion. Therefore it says, Mikkets shnatayim, Ketz sam lachoshech. He put a demise, he finally terminated, Ketz, that dependency he had. In that moment, he said, okay, God, I'm ready. I know I'm ready. I'm ready to take the responsibility, the yoke of becoming a great person, and I know I worked very hard. So nothing can take me by surprise. Joseph has full inner control. On one hand, he wants the greatness of being a king. On the other hand, he wants to do it in order to make God's world better by leaps and bounds like no one else did beforehand. He achieved it when he put a demise to his dependency. From now on, he says, and we read it, he's standing in front of Pharaoh. He's so focused. Pharaoh feels the magnetism, the charisma, and especially the self-control. Pharaoh was not a stupid person. Being a Pharaoh, you needed to really be powerful enough. You couldn't be fake. No sentiments in Egypt. Whoever was the strongest by power, witchcraft, whatever, took the job and became Pharaoh. Okay? They had no morals and values like we do. Okay, no, it's not fair. No, what's fair? Whoever is stronger is killing the weak one and takes the booty. That's fair. Pharaoh realizes the material Joseph is made of immediately. We learn from that. A big thing. We are all plagued by all kinds of discomfort, pain, misery, failure, you just name it. Okay, some people have more of it, some people less of it, but if you're a human being, you must be carrying some pain. You must be carrying some dependency. It could be alcohol, drugs, cigarettes, it could be men, women, it doesn't matter what people think about me, appreciation, they say thank you, no, or they didn't say thank you. These dependencies, that's the belief system that kills us. This is what invites the angel of death into our life. And the only way to terminate this unhealthy relationship is achieving Joseph's status of knowing it's all from God. However, God cannot give it to me for free. I have to make it come to me. I have to bring it down. I have to draw it in. Who will do it for me? Only my belief system. Only the way I behave. Only the way I treat others. Only the way I react to others. The moment I realize that others have a say about if I'm happy or not, successful or not, I'm not there yet. I need to step up again and again till I achieve that place, that plateau in which my happiness is unconditional, because my happiness is my connection to God. And no one can interfere, no one can come in between, because it's only me and Him. And if I work on that, how do I work on that? So that's all what Kabbalah is about. It's a study, it's a transformative study, it is meditation, and it is the most important of them all, practice, daily practice. Always to be aware of the build-up, the structure of my belief system. When we have the right state of mind in which no one can do it for us. And it's nobody's fault if it didn't happen. It depends only in my belief system. Nothing else. There's nothing but God. There's only God. He's everywhere. Do I let God in? If I let God in, then I can rise to powers, abilities, opportunities that I cannot even imagine. Yes, I don't know if Joseph knew he's supposed to be the king of Egypt. Maybe a little prince somewhere. I don't think he was thinking this way. And you're not supposed to. You're supposed to work for the best you can do. But you're supposed to understand that it's nothing to do with other people. It's only about your own self. It's only about your relationships with the light of the Creator. Because the source of demise, darkness, angel of death, all the dark stuff in the world is only in me. And the source of happiness, excitement, whatever, it's also in me. It's my attitude that determines reality. And we know that. If you read the story, it's a very simple story. Here's the guy who was a kind of spoiled child at the house of his father. He made him a special dream coat. And now his brothers hate him and he has no idea. He doesn't realize. It's like he's so not in place. He makes them hate him. They almost killed him. He got out of it. However, he learns very fast. And when he realizes that he asked for a favor from the wine steward, but he asked him as a dependency, it's like, this is the last straw. This is my last way out. Hello, 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 hello. Do not ever put so much weight on one little bridge. It might not carry your weight. Okay? You know you do the best, God will do the rest. If God is sending the messenger, that person who comes could be the messenger or could not. Yeah, I have to do my best. If my time has come, no one can stop me from getting out of the pit, out of the box, out to the sky, above gravity, and being the ruler of big part of the earth. Joseph did it. He did it because he went through the rules by the dot. Verse 3. בוא וראה כמה יש לבני אדם להסתכל בעבודת הקדוש ברוך הוא. Come and see how much people need to see, to look at, evaluate the real job. The real job is the job we have with our relationships with the Creator. Because when we're really aware to the real job, as just I explain it right now, then we know. When I'm doing that, verse 4, כשאדם עוסק בתורה מדבק בה, when I'm attaching myself to that wisdom, to that body of knowledge which is called the Torah, to that frequency that is called the tree of life. Being in the tree of life means no one is my enemy. No one can take it away from me. No one can give it to me. It's only my connection to the tree of life. If I'm connected properly to the tree of life, the messengers will come. There will be the right person to tell Pharaoh the right thing. Pharaoh will become the right messenger at that moment to get me out of my slavery and my jail time. All of that. It's all dependent on my belief system, my own belief system. The structure of the story that I'm telling myself, and every human being is telling himself a story. Make it a good story. And remember, you are the one that should control the story the same way as we learned Parashat Vayeshev. Joseph is telling his dreams to his brothers. And the Zohar says we have to learn from it. You do not tell the dreams. You have not nighttime dream and not daylight dreams. You know, you do not tell your plans in the open to people who do not respect you, do not like you. And more than that, people cannot be happy with your success. You have to hide them. The blessing is always in the hiding place. So when a person is learning the Torah, is connecting to that frequency, he's basically connected to that universe that is called the world to come. Where is it? It's here. You know, in Hebrew, it's not the world to come. In Hebrew, the Olam Haba, direct translation, is the world that is coming. Is coming at us all the time. Do we have a belief system that allows that magical world to come in and embrace us? Or can we embrace it without any doubt and become that frequency? I do good. I want the good. I want it for myself. I want it for others. And there's nothing to stop it to me because I am doing my work. I'm making the effort. And that's why it's going to happen. Not now, tomorrow. I don't know exactly all the rules and what's happening. I'm not there. I'm a human being. However, I know one thing. I have to work on one thing. My connection to the light of the Creator, and that means I have to develop the right column, the sharing, the giving, unconditionally, with a full heart. And I know when I'm building that, I can also develop my ambition to become a greater person. And some people could be in medicine, some people in banking, some people in, there's so many ways. Everybody who studied the economy in high school becomes a smart business person? No. Whoever finishes second degree, like the master's degree in business, is becoming a business person? No. It's not happening always. You learn, you make the effort to advance in your life. You're making the effort of building this business or another business, and that falls and fails and you start all over again. The only test is, can you create that unconditional bond with the endless light of the Creator? If you can do that, so this business didn't work, this business didn't work. I'll try another one, I'll try another. When you're finally connected to that place of unconditional happiness and enlightenment, you know it's going to happen, and it's going to happen. It's not because God does not want to give it to us. It's because we need to be open to let it in, to let it happen. And it's all about, and that's what the Zohar says, it's all about emunah. Emunah is the connection between the good spirit of connecting to the world to come with my mind and with my heart. Can somebody stop me from doing that? No. If I'm not doing that, it's only my fault. Which means try harder. We have to learn how to get the worries outside, to get the fears outside, and to inject instead true faith and connection. And that's why we study, that's why we pray, that's why we learn from the Zohar. All of it is for one purpose, to cleanse the angel of death from within us. Nothing else. Because when we really want it, and we want it without any fears or dependencies, just because I know the created me to receive it, so sooner or later I'm going to receive it. What is this? Good life. How it's going to look like, who cares? If it's going to be that spouse or another spouse, that business or another business, that job or another job, You do your best. And you don't blame anyone and anything for your fails. You don't even blame yourself. You just try to reach that place of true certainty as Joseph. And the moment he reached that moment, the demise came to his darkness, and not just overnight, over a very short moment. He's run out of the jail. He's put in front of Pharaoh. He's giving Pharaoh the speech of his life, and he gets the position that he invents. And the rest is history. So we see that later on, Parashat Vayichi, after Jacob dies, and the brothers come to Joseph, and they say to him, Father told us to tell you that his want, his desire is that you forgive us. And Joseph's answer is, are you kidding? You wanted it evil, but God wanted it good. And therefore, look, you sold me to be a slave. If you didn't sell me to be a slave, we will be right now dying of famine in Canaan. Okay, so you want me to forgive? Or not to forgive? Can you control my life? No. You threw me to the pit? No, you didn't. Who put the idea in your head? When we cleanse our belief systems, and what's left is just one thing. When I'm connecting the heaven and the earth together, when I'm pulling in the light of the endless by true, certain desire to make things better, everything is possible. This is the story of Hanukkah. This is a story of you against the multitude. This is the story of the real great miracles that happened just by those people who simply had that great desire to win, to control, but it was conditioned by that has to be done for everybody. And that what creates that flow of light, pure light, without any explanation. That's the light of Hanukkah. Simply endless light. Light without any thought, without any agenda, without any plan. The moment that light comes in, things fall in place the way they should be. Not necessarily the way I plan it. Okay? Being in that place is the greatest gift we can have. How do we gather? Studying, applying, working on every thought that we have, so finally will come. And that takes a long time. How can somebody become happy unconditionally when we are born, as the Zohar is saying in previous parasha, with the evil inclination that puts in our minds all kinds of whims and heavy guilt and anger and upset and so on. How can you be happy? You have to fight for it. You have to meditate, you have to pray for it, you have to dance for it, and you have to stand up and simply bring that enlightenment unconditionally to yourself. It takes years of ongoing fight. As long as you're fighting, you're winning. Thank you. Happy Hanukkah and happy week.